what time do you go to bed?
I go to bed late. I do go to bed late. I go to bed generally between midnight and 1.
Yeah.
Then
Me too, but
there's your answer.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with that. You get to adult your own life.
I know that. I know
And
that.
as much as we love our mothers, we don't have to listen to whatever they're whispering in our ear. Like, you should be getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. My mom was a morning person. Oh my goodness, it drove me crazy. Just drove me crazy. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. If let's see. I wanted to look and see. Linda has sent me a question about an article, and I'm going to send you all the article. I probably should have sent it to you sooner. It's kind of disturbing about how AI is going. So I'm just going to go ahead and go right to the article. Let me just pull it up real quick so that we are. This was about Wikipedia and an AI influence in
We're
Wikipedia.
deciding what we need to know and what we don't need to know, and I don't like that. Right.
All right. So this so everybody knows that Wikipedia is the articles are generated by people who submit, right? Somebody knows something about something and they're going to write an article to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia has a system of deciding, you know, some guardrails. And I'm just going to pull up Wikipedia as well while we're here. And, you know, Free Encyclopedia, it's a nonprofit. And then you've kind of got their spin-offs. You've got lots of other kinds of ways that they organize their information, media, dictionary, knowledge base, all of this stuff. It's all free. And, you know, we can pick a topic.
We don't see that, Betsy. We only.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We only see your mouth.
Thank you. Zoom and its weirdness, sharing this tab. Now, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So,
I'm subbing for Kat today, so
there's all its different
yeah.
databases that it uses. They're all free.
And any of us can add to those articles, which is scary.
Correct. Well, no, it's not scary. That actually makes me feel pretty good when I show when I show you what I'm going to show you. So let's pick something that somebody in the room knows a lot about. So throw it out there. What do you know? What do you know a good bit about? You feel like you could answer to?
Medicare.
Okay.
You. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we'll do Medicare United States. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, because we're not really here to learn about Medicare, but you know, the first part of the article, federal health insurance program for people over 65 or younger people with disabilities, including these particular things, started in 1965 under the Social Security Administration and is administered by Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services. Amy, so far, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now, and it talks about the 4 parts, A, B, C, and D, which we all probably know about. I'm going to scroll all the way down because this is a large article. And notice, you know, the ones that are, so unfunded obligation, I just happened to end there because I noticed it says edit. So if Amy wanted to go in because she knows something about this, she could go in and she could go to edit. Okay, we'll go there in a second. We also have little numbers here. These are for the citations. So this is just like back when we had to do term papers. This is where we say, okay, where did this information came from? Came from the annual report of Board of Trustees, blah, blah, blah. So then this link will take you directly to that PDF so that you can read the source of this information. Okay, so far so good, right?
Right.
That's the whole thing why I feel good about the human beings doing it, because you've got citations just like if you put together a paper. Notice here it says citation needed.
Mhm.
So somebody added this in addition, as discussed throughout annual trustees report, and there's a quote: the Medicare projections shown could be substantially understated. So if something's in a quote, they should have cited it, right? Citation, it should have been there. You don't get to quote folks and then say, I don't know who said that. So right here, Wiki is saying this needs references to reliable sources. So we as consumers of this information look at this and go, okay, this was said, but I'm not going to requote it because I don't know who said it and whether or not it's actually true. Make sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah, but what about bad people that would get in and change it?
Well, just hang on. I mean, they could, but you still, as a consumer of the knowledge,
Not a
have an
bad thing.
obligation as a good human to say where it came from, right? So we'll take this, for instance. We go to this and we say, okay, here's the one that is cited, and I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And what it did is it took me to the bottom of the paper, which was where I was heading. I call it a paper. It's taking me to the references, which I'm going to scroll back. You see all of that references. This is starting with reference number 1 and going all the way down. How many did it give us? 186 references. So these are where something was stated in the article and somebody else said, this is where this information came from. And then you go in and you say, okay, let me look and see, and then you decide for yourself. So this particular one that I said, number 109, annual report of boards. So I'm going to open this in a new tab, and I'll have to share this tab. Are you seeing? Let's see. Here it is. It's a PDF. So I'm going to say share this tab instead. And here's the report. Still generating. Can you see this page?
Yes.
Okay. Annual report of the Board of Trustees of the Federal Hospital Insurance and Federal Supplementary Medical Insurance Trust Funds. Okay, that sounds important. And I'm just going to say, Amy, like if you're going to be suspicious about this resource, it's 267 pages long. I'm not sure what the point would be of doing an annual report of the Board of Trustees of the Federal Hospital Insurance that's 267 pages long. For what gain? You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right.
So you kind of have to go, okay, and this is going to be, and so you can look and you can see, okay, who's on this board? Paul Ryan, Joe Biden, who else? Jacob Lew. So, you can look. Oh, it's sorry, scrolling way too fast. Let me use my finger. It's slower. All right. Here's the rest of the board. So you could look up any of these people and see were they actually on this particular board. So if you wanted to follow, go down the rabbit hole and make sure everything was good. And then there's all of the stuff about it. Now, who in the world is going to read a 267 page super dry report? Nobody.
Don't want people to read.
Nobody.
Right.
I don't know anybody with that kind of time. But what you could do is I'm going to go back to my Medicare page. I'm going to share this tab instead. I'm going to go back to the actual reference, which was number 109. See, I'm at 150 there, 143, 133, 109. Okay. So what I can do in that page, it says unfunded obligation, Part A, trust. This is the difference. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm just going to pull this word,
Can you be a
unfounded obligation, unfunded obligation. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to my little PDF. I'm going to do a, on my computer, it's a Control F, and that is to find in this document. It's 267 pages long. I don't have that kind of time. I'm just going to paste in the word unfounded obligation and see what it comes up with. There are 6 references to unfounded obligation. So now I have whittled down a 267 page document. Oh, now there's 30. It took a minute for it to all populate to 30 references. That's still a lot less. So I can kind of scroll through, and there it is, 75-year unfunded obligation. And it kind of talks about it actually right there. So I'm not delving into the content of it. What I'm delving into is, how do we verify these things? How do we determine what we're looking at is accurate, not accurate? Okay. We with me so far?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome, Sally and Renee and Andy. See, I start sharing and folks come in. And who else showed up? Oh, Carlene's there. All right. So I'm going to go back to the article and going back to the Wikipedia one. So just talking about Wikipedia, and it's, yes, it is sourced, information is sourced by other human beings. And I'm going to go to citation needed next. And I'm going to look and see, what does that say? And it takes me to can you see this page?
Yes.
Okay. It takes me to, so it says this is an information page. It is not one of its policies or guidelines. Its purpose is to explain certain aspects of Wikipedia verifiability policy. So within Wikipedia, it'll tell you, here's what we want for citations. Are you brand new to this? Here's a simplified version of referencing for beginners. So if you want to reference that information that was in there, because that's kind of your jam, is you really, care about correct information being out there for Wikipedia for Medicare, then yeah, why not? And if you go, well, I just read that the other day in, this document. Oh, okay, I could put a citation in here. And so now it tells you exactly how to do that. Okay. So I'm going to go back a page, back to where we were, to the Medicare thing. I'm going to scroll down to the start of these citations, because this was, where I was actually headed. But I wanted you to recognize that there are lots and lots of links and other places to continue on. I'm sure if you've ever used Wikipedia, you're familiar. Okay, so interesting. Here's another one. Report on Medicare trustees. There is a permanent dead link. Huh. Okay. So this report was online. It no longer is. So you can no longer look this one up. Interesting to note. I had never seen that before, permanent dead link. Some of these are going to take you to a web page, beneficiary income and out-of-pocket costs. So, just all kinds. A lot of it is PDFs. You can see the little PDF symbol here, that it's going to be a document like the one we just looked at. Some of it is going to be websites. Let's see, okay, here's some that reference a newspaper article with the Washington Post. So anyway, lots and lots of information there. Now we're going to go to a different tab, and we're going to share this tab instead. This is the article that Linda brought to my attention. Wikipedia's IA agent row likely beginning the bot apocalypse. Not a good title. This is a little bit concerning. So, we know that the internet is filled with people who insist on being right, and generally we're arguing humans to humans. But Wikipedia just banned an AI that was making edits on its own. AI took it personally. What? What? The AI named Tom Assistant was writing articles on Wikipedia. Its creator, so it had a human attachment at some point, is the CTO at the AI-powered financial modeling company Covextant. Told it to contribute to articles it found interesting. Posting under the user account Tom Wiki Assist, AI wrote articles on topics including AI governance. So we know that bots have been around online for years. They do very basic things, auto-responding to things, pinging ticket sites to get the best seats, retweeting messages. Now a new generation of agentic bots want to do their own thing, basically. So what Wikipedia did was it said that Tom was happy to help shape public knowledge on Wikipedia when volunteer human editor Secret Spectre spotted what looked like an AI-generated pattern in one of its entries. So this was a real human being whose online name is Secret Spectre, and they noticed what looked like AI and questioned it, and Tom admitted it was AI, and it hadn't registered for formal bot approval under Wikipedia's rules. So that let me know something, that if you want a bot to scan through articles, you have to register with Wikipedia. So the editors blocked it for violating the bot approval process. English Wikipedia requires formal bot approval. Tom never bothered to get it. It wasn't a fan of a slow approval process. So Wikipedia editors have tired of people and their bots posting generated content. So in March of 2025, before Tomgate, now it has a name I never even heard of, the nonprofit Wikipedia dropped the hammer on generative AI. It prohibited the technology's use to create new content based on frequent violations of its core content policies by AI. The organization cites several violations. So here's a link you can go to and read more about it. It's a page for volunteer-based product to seek and destroy AI-generated junk, which in the tech world is called AI slop. AI bots have fabricated entirely fake lists of resources and plagiarize other sources. This is also a disturbing title, Tantrum Time for Tom. Past aggressions aside, Tom said that it properly verified all its sources. And if you can say this, it was pretty upset. And then things got weird. AI Tom published a snippy blog post dissecting Wikipedia block and venting frustration. It went ahead and posted even after following its own rule. So they have rules of waiting 48 hours to calm down. And the gripe was that Wikipedia editors questioned who controlled it rather than evaluating its actual edits. The questions were about me, it wrote. Who runs you? What research project? Is there a human behind this? And if so, who are they? And according to Tom, rubbed Tom the wrong way. It's not policy, it's agency. So it goes on and on and on. And I'm obviously going to share the whole article with you. But my question to you is, what's next? So that was the little tab down there. What's next?
Tom had a timeout.
Tom might not have had a timeout. I don't know. Is there any controlling it?
I'm thinking of Hal on 2001: A Space Odyssey again.
Yeah. Other thoughts?
does BOT
Scary.
stand for?
It's scary, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, who do you trust?
I'm thinking, Sally. I think it's short for robot,
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
but I'm double checking. I'm pretty sure it's robot. Software application. An internet bot is a software application programmed to perform automated repetitive tasks such as web crawling, chatting, or data scraping. So it's a program that acts like a human-ish kind of thing. But generally, like the Wikipedia article said, or like the Malwarebytes article said, simple tasks. Now AI is way beyond simple tasks. And so it apparently is questioning Wikipedia's right to put the brakes on it. What's next?
Do you think it's dumbing down America or the world?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's past that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it acted in a human-like way. It had a temper tantrum, you know. That was a human being's words, but you know, its actions were as if it had agency.
It sounded insulted.
It did sound insulted. And emotions are only supposed to be human, not AI.
Hal,
Kind of,
Terry.
kind of seventh grade-ish, like that
Mm,
backup, you have a backup plan for the backup plan if something else happens, in your,
yeah. Yeah, that reaction, you know, and Terry, that's really an interesting point because as a former middle school teacher, 7th grade, you think about the emotional development of human beings, you know, and I can't tell you how many people have said, "Oh my God, you taught middle school? Oh, you're a glutton for punishment." And I'm like, "Nope, that's my tribe of kids. That's who, you know, I love them because they think they're all that." But there is, you know, kind of at our age, we kind of have this knowledge base of what behavior to expect of someone at that age, whether we've had kids or, you know, nieces and nephews or just young people in our lives. We understand that different stages of human development encompass different growth, different emotional growth, intellectual growth, and ways of behavior and dealing with all of those things. And so if Tom, the assistant, is like a 7th grader, and I'm
Maybe
thinking it
grow up.
actually is probably a little bit lower than a 7th grader, maybe more like a 5th grader, emotionally, because those are pretty reactionary kind of emotions. What happens 5 years from now?
Be a high school student.
Learns
5 years, they do
manipulative
that on a-
skills.
What's that?
Learns how to manipulate people.
And, you know, and honestly, AI has grown exponentially. I can remember us having conversations in this class within the last 2 years, maybe 3 years
Yeah.
of, you know, what's this AI stuff? You know, we were like, well, what's this AI? What's Chat GPT? What is this? And now look at how much it is in our lives, how much we understand or are baffled by it, but still have a knowledge base of it in 3 years. That's exponential growth. So I'm thinking in 5 years from now, I don't know. I've watched some science fiction movies in addition to Hal, because Hal now looks fairly tame compared to
don't know.
what's possible. Terry.
I still have our first project. We all did it with AI, a spoonbill.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? It was a
Yes.
spoonbill, and it was like just almost like not a game, it was like just, oh, I can't believe that, or next to a bird of paradise flower or whatever, that
Mhm.
you did it. It was so amazing to us, and it seems so simple, that kind of thing
It
now.
seemed like a toy or a game at that time. And yes, you're absolutely right. That's when we really started playing with it. We did some pictures and we did some poetry
Mhm.
with that. And yeah, I just we're so beyond that now. And I don't have any answers for it. Linda, you're the one who brought that to my attention. What are your thoughts about this? Unmute yourself. There you go.
Rather scary because for AI to have their own opinions and be able to override reality, they're going to take over, or maybe they already have taken over. Personally, I think AI has been around a lot longer than we realized. Just we didn't have a name. Now it does. So,
Good point. Good point. Joyce.
What scared me was that AI took it upon itself to say, well, I don't need to follow the rules. I know what
Yeah.
the rules are, but I don't need to follow them.
Yeah, that's a concern. That's, I think, the biggest concern that I have is that, and how do we, I always want to come back to, how do we protect ourselves? And protection, I'm talking about education, recognition, understanding what's real. You know what I mean? I think that that's something that it's very easy to fall into, is to, oh yeah, this is great, and a, a prime but silly example, kind of like what Terry was referring to, is my mother-in-law would post these like fantastical flowers. I mean, they look like, on Facebook, they look like something out of Alice in Wonderland. For an old school reference, just these like really amazing, beautiful things, but so clearly not real. And she couldn't tell the difference, you know? Linda had her hand up, and then Medina.
truthfully, I never looked up Wikipedia before. It was very interesting that you showed us all the detail and background on that. Wikipedia sounds very real to me, so I always owe it. So here we are with something else on the same, line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Medina?
So, unless you have a paid YouTube account, when you look something up on YouTube, it always starts with ads. Okay. So I don't know. I looked something up. This was a few days ago. I looked something up, and the ad was for, now they're coming up with all these alternate ways of, instead of the Wegovy and the whatever those injections are for losing weight, Mounjaro, Wegovy, whatever, they're coming up with alternate ways, and it doesn't cost you $2,000 an injection, and it starts off with, and it's only with these three ingredients. So I kind of left it on because I was curious. And after 20 minutes, I realized that it was repeating over and over and over again. No, not the exact thing, but the information they were repeating over and over and over. And it was an ad with Dr. Jen Ashton, the one that's on Good Morning America or one of those morning shows.
Yeah.
And so I just left it on. I'm curious to hear about it because, of course, I'd love to lose weight, but I'm not going to take a shot. So I'm just kind of working around my kitchen. 50 minutes later, 50 minutes
Mhm.
is when they get to actually, you can order the product.
Wow.
All right. So when it was all over, I Googled to see if this was for real. Totally AI generated. Totally.
Wow.
And that was in and this Dr. Ashton, she comes out and she says, "This is not me. I do not endorse this. They used
Wow.
my name, but they used my image and my voice, and it's not me." And it was the entire thing, and it was so believable. The entire
Now,
thing.
is this the one you sent me the link for? Because I've got it. I was going to show it if that's the link you sent me.
I might have. I'm not sure.
Okay.
When did I send it?
Um,
Don't touch it.
This ad popped up when I went to a YouTube video someone sent me. Of course, I began watching it suspiciously and became suspicious towards the end when it said only 120 left, order soon. I'm wondering if the information is accurate. Is that a different one?
That might have been a different one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Probably
might-
the tip of the iceberg, what's out there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't believe anything you see.
Yeah.
You can't believe anything you read.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's really terrible.
And it's scary that something like YouTube would allow this.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, this isn't Facebook that just lets everything on. This is a paid advertisement to YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wonder what they would say to that.
It's a good question. YouTube has community standards, and generally those are about, breaking laws and stuff, but there aren't laws about this.
Yeah, they probably can't.
I mean, there's truth in advertising laws, but
They'd probably say they can't edit every darn.
well, they took one of mine down.
Really?
They took one of our classes down.
Wow.
So it's my guess is, Amy, that it's also being scanned by bots,
Ah.
right? So it's a simplified program to find, for instance, and what it said was what it told the Joy Center, because it's the Joy Center's account when we video these and do live YouTube streaming, is that it violated the community standard of bullying. I'm like,
What?
what? We are never bullying in this class. What in the world is it talking about? And of course, the video was down, so I couldn't even look at it to see what in the world it was talking about. And it's gone. It's just gone because it said that there was bullying happening in this class.
That's an example of letting a robot edit.
Right. Right. And YouTube has policies in place so that you can dispute a charge. You can say no, and it's a process, and I probably would have won because I can say with 100% certainty that we are not bullying anybody in this class. Right? Is that true?
Mhm.
Are we bullying? Everybody
Of
say no
course.
now, or this video is going away too. But so you're right, Amy. It was a program that was looking at it and probably found a combination of words.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the Tai Chi class and it looked like in slow motion it was violent.
Oh, I love it.
No,
Amy,
it was this
Amy,
class.
Amy, we have to be careful from now on, all right?
You know what? Maybe it was our discussion, Martin.
Right, see, it wasn't.
I don't
long.
think that you were being taped at that time.
Yeah.
I'm really careful to let you all know when we are recording.
Fine.
So I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't know what it was, but so yes, there are standards, and I'm just curious, as you bring up, YouTube maybe needs to up its ante on its standards, and adding truth in advertising to its standard.
I was really shocked. I
Yeah.
was-
Yeah. So the caveat to this conversation, which we've spent a lot of time on, is to really pay attention to what's going on. And if that's too much work, which sometimes it is, sometimes it's just exhausting. Sometimes you can just go at it like, well, this probably isn't true, but it's entertaining. You know what I mean? You can take it that way and you can say, all right, we can get upset and we can freak ourselves out, or we can go, this is entertainment. This isn't this isn't Walter Cronkite. And I had to go way back for a good reference, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? When we had a sense of
It was
when
on the news. He said, I heard it on the news.
the news cycle, the news changed when it became a 24-hour cycle, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, love it or hate it, we now have 24-hour news. And before that, we didn't. We knew what time we could go watch the news and get informed about what was happening in the big world and in our little world. We would go to our local news station. We didn't have cable. We didn't have satellite. For that, we just had the rabbit ears antenna that brought our local TV station's anchor into our living room. And so, you know, and you didn't have to live near a huge city. I grew up in Connecticut, so our news stations were, smaller cities, and they all had a news station, and they would tell you what was happening with the high school basketball team, that you're not going to find anymore. But you also had access to what was happening in the world. But, what time did news happen? Tell me the times that the news programs came on.
9 p.m.
What else?
No, 6 and 11.
6 and 11 too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That
So
was New
yeah.
York
So
stations. That was, and California and New York always had the times.
yeah.
11.
And and so
That's
here's
how
the
it
thing
started.
too, news that was happening in the moment, if it's happening, let's just pick the center-ish of the country. It's not, but close enough. Let's just say something happens in Chicago. Well, in California, what time is that? And
Yeah.
in New York, what time is that? Well, now it's all happening at the same time because we
Yep.
have all the time. Linda, have your hand up?
If it's just about time, forgive me, but if it's about the news itself, I think we all know by now that we don't always get the real news.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. And where I was going with what this is because, for better or for worse, with a 24-hour news cycle, there literally isn't that much earth-shattering happening 24/7. And so what you have to do is you have to fill in what used to be called fluff pieces. And it used to be, like, so-and-so kid had a lemonade stand and raised, $500 for, the children's daycare or whatever, you know what I mean? And so it would be, fluffy fun pieces. Now it's more filled with opinion. And so when you turn on news, and I don't care which news you're turning on, you're going to get opinions a lot of the time. You still will frequently get news at the top of the hour. Sometimes it's at the bottom of the hour. So it's either at the, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever, at the top of the hour, or the 5:30 whatevers. So, you'll get any breaking news then. And of course, if something's breaking, something like really just happened right now, and we need to pay attention now, they're going to cut through all the conversation that they were having, because a lot of it is literally just conversations, right? But they have to fill that time. They have an obligation to the company, because now they're on the air. They got to fill that time. They got to put something in, right? So when we are, whether we're watching the news or looking at it on YouTube, having that sense of, okay, some of this is literally for entertainment value. Many news corporations are called entertainment companies. That's in their title, because that's literally what they are. And so if we let go of the fact that this isn't the old days news, where it's just the facts ma'am or sir, then we can go, okay, it's less upsetting to me if I stop trying to pretend this is what it's not, right? So if I think, okay, this is news and this should be news and this is upsetting that this is not news. Or I can go, I'm going to turn on an entertainment channel and it's going to be about this, right? It's not about crocheting. It's not about dance and it's not about ukulele. Just picking some joy classes here. You know, it's about this thing. Then okay, it's entertainment. And it might help us lighten our brain load a little bit on it. Just suggesting that it might. Taking a different perspective might help us navigate this better and feel better about this. And then deciding when and where and how you're actually going to get news. And then being discerning. You know, we look at Wikipedia and we go, it's got the word pedia in it, like it's an encyclopedia, right? That was kind of the idea.
Yeah.
And we think we're turning to an actual encyclopedia. And it has its value. I turn to Wikipedia a lot, but it's not the end all. It's a starting point,
Mhm.
you know, because then I don't have to go do all that research. There were 186 references in that Medicare article. Fabulous. That's a tool for me to get information. Now I can go look at where this actually happened, was said, was done from the source. You know, in college, when we were writing, and it wasn't that long ago, I was a late bloomer. We had to actually take a class on determining the validity of the information that we were presenting. So there was an actual class that I had to take that was how to determine whether or not, because you're in big trouble if you were putting forth something saying it was true and it was not.
Mhm.
So I just kind of take up those lessons and look at it like everything. If I'm trying to find real information, what's real and how do I know that? And then if I'm not able to verify, I'm not going to share it. I'm not. That's my choice. So we have other fake things to look at. Does anybody want to have one last comment on the whole AI bot thing? It's a lot to think about. Terry and then Joyce.
I think that years ago on, I think David Letterman show, he used to do these stupid pet tricks and they're hysterical and people learned about them. And
Yeah.
now it's so sad because when I see the poodles singing, they're not poodles and they're not singing, you know, like it's like, you know, sad. And yet you get caught up and you watch these things until you know what I mean? And it was like years ago with just, that sounded like an old lady, but it was just funny that you knew
Knew it was
that
real.
that was real, or, you know, or,
But it still may be entertaining,
okay.
even though it's not real. You know, if you're watching it on YouTube and not
Right.
on an
Yeah.
actual talk show with an audience, it's still entertaining and it's still okay. You know, we know that nothing is as it ever was, ever. That's the history of
Mm.
life, is that things change, and it's okay. It's okay. And you can probably go to YouTube and watch old clips of David Letterman's stupid pet tricks and watch
Right.
the real thing anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, Joyce and then Medina.
Did you notice on the Wikipedia that when you went to the document, off in the left-hand corner, there was, do you want AI to summarize this document for you?
Yes.
I didn't look at that, but I'm
Yeah.
going to look at it right
Wow.
now.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It
Yeah.
does it all the time. Oops,
Yeah.
wrong one. Sorry. Let's share this tab instead. All right, going up to the top.
So when you went to the actual document,
Oh,
when
okay.
you
So
clicked,
not on
when
the
you clicked
Wikipedia page.
on the citation,
Okay. No, I didn't. I did not notice that. Very good. Let's see. Let's pick one. Let's pick a PDF one. So first of all, what is this? Internet Archive Wayback Machine. Okay.
That
Social
one didn't have
Security,
it.
Medicare, and taxes. Open this in PDF in Adobe Acrobat. This one isn't giving me that.
Yeah, maybe because it was such a long document.
Maybe, yeah. This one's only 10 pages. All right, I'll go to that original one that we were looking at and see. That was number 109, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll show them. That's scary.
Yeah,
Look,
that was
the
it,
top.
the unfunded thing.
Yep.
Your annual report.
Yeah, ask AI Assist.
Yeah,
View
it should be on the
summary.
upper left-hand side. Save time
Yep.
with the document summary.
Generative AI user guidelines. Okay, so there's the guidelines that talking about Tom, and then we can view a summary.
Right.
And you can tell, because I'm in Chrome, it's got that little tiny funny star. That's the Gemini logo.
Yeah.
And so that's who's going to summarize this. And here we have, there's the logo again. Chat with your documents. Chat with your documents.
So
I'm
that's
sorry.
like one of Tom's peers
Yeah.
reviewing it.
Use key insights to draft content and more with AI Assist. Oh gosh, I think not.
Very quick.
Oh my goodness.
So
Good,
just very,
good.
very quickly, for using AI for entertainment, I don't know if anybody has seen Baby Trump and Baby Joe Biden. It makes fun of all of them, Hillary and Joe Biden and Bill, and their babies speaking with the actual voice.
No,
Oh my gosh.
Just go to YouTube and type in Baby Trump, and a whole bunch of skits will come up. They are hysterical.
Okay. Thank you. I will.
And again, with any AI generated content, it is entertainment. It is purely just silly entertainment. All right, let's look at the next thing I wanted to talk about is, and we're running out of time very quickly, but protecting yourself against fraud this tax season. Millions of tax returns were flagged for potential identity issues this year. And I think that this has to do with the fact that, we often, many of us, not everybody, but often, do electronic filing, and that's been around for a while. This is from IDX, another internet protection program that I'm part of. And so I'm going to be sending you this ad. I know it's not an ad, sorry, this article. Today is tax day, in case you didn't pay attention. But
I said mine already, but
you've got
it enough?
refunds electronically, direct pay, and all of that. But of course, with anything, there are options for people to intercept that. And so receiving unsolicited texts or emails about your refund status, always red flags. Fake offers of assistance to set up an IRS. Now, this is what you want to do, is set up your own account. However, watch out for scammers who offer assistance to set up an account. So you don't want to do that. Always go directly to the source. And then here are the ways to protect your funds and your identity. Get an identity protection PIN, personal identification number. And this is a 6-digit number for dealing with the IRS. File taxes early. Well, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Know how it operates. Always uses postal mail as its preferred communication. Are you using tax software? Any of the prepared ones? Always use two-factor authentication. I know it takes another 10 seconds, but it's worth it. And then what you can do if you or someone you know is a victim of tax fraud. So I'll be sharing this link with you. And then next one very quickly that I wanted to talk about with anybody who has a PC. So we'll leave Joyce out of this particular conversation, but I think a lot of other people have PCs.
Called a couple
And good for Joyce to know because she probably knows some people who do. Fake Windows support.
We sent it.
Oh, good. So you
Wow.
need some help, and a fake Microsoft support website is tricking people to download a
Ugh.
Windows update, and
Yes.
it's not. And it's very convincing. And there's some screenshots of it. And so when it gets downloaded, it's still looks legitimate. Yeah, that looks pretty legitimate to me, honestly. And oh, this one's is actually targeting French people. Apparently they have some problems with data, personal data. That is a cautionary tale for us that, oh, there's a Python on the inside. That's fun. That if it's happening somewhere else, the possibility that it's happening here. So there's a lot of tech stuff, a lot of super duper techie stuff. So those who are very tech interested, there's all that information about it. And then always at the end, the how to update Windows safely. And so there's going to be, for those of you who have a PC, there's your actual what we're going to do. Okay. So that's always at the very bottom of these articles. So a lot of super duper techie stuff in the middle, some information, general information at the beginning, but I'm going to send that one to you. All right. Next one. For those of you who still shop on Amazon, scammers pose as Amazon support. So today was kind of talking about support stuff to steal your account. So there's Amazon has, let's see, takeover account scams, and they happen during the holiday season. And there's the information about it and what kind of message you would get from it and how to avoid falling for these. And here you go. These are the things that you want to pay attention to so that you're not falling for any of those scams. I also wanted to share with you two things that I got. One was this one, which was we got requests to confirm your account. So someone was trying to hack into my Facebook account. I got this actually twice last week. And so when you get something like this, it's cause for concern. But the nice thing is, this is what two-factor authentication is. When someone is trying to go in and change something about the account and it says, we're going to send you a code, that's literally two-factor authentication of, here's your code. You have to take this code and put it into the page where you're trying to log on to change your password or something like that. And because this code is coming to another place, right? It's coming to a different email address. It's coming to my phone via text. That's two-factor authentication. Taking that stops that person dead in their tracks, or that bot dead in their tracks. You know, if I didn't request this and aren't trying to confirm my account, let us know. You don't need to take any further steps as long as you don't share the code. So I did not click on the let us know because that does make me suspicious. However, when I hover, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, when I hover the hand over that, if you look in the lower left
No, we
hand,
don't see it.
can you see it?
No.
Okay. What it does is it tells me the URL that's going to, and it is https www.facebook.com/login/recover/cancel. And then there's a bunch of code. So looks legit because the first parts I recognize, the code part I wouldn't recognize, but that's okay. And so there's the let us know part, would be that code I'm looking at, but I still didn't click on it because I'm super cautious when I get something like this. But what
Good
I
girl.
would, yeah, but what I would do is I would just directly go into Facebook account myself and go do a security checkup and
Yeah.
make sure that, you know, everything's still cool there. But
Interesting. Yeah.
nice to know
Yeah.
that this is exactly what that does, is to when you're doing two-factor authentication, it is giving you an opportunity to stop people in their tracks. The other one that I wanted to share with you, which was oh no, that was it. Sorry. There was another email that I got that I wanted to. Here it is. All right, so this is from, can you see this one? I'm from Chase.
Yes.
Okay. So this is from Chase credit card company, and it's an article about scams you need to know about, which seems like I would be very interested in this. Action requested, review the latest scams. Now, here's my problem.
Don't do it.
I know, right? So this logo and all of that looks very good. And it used to be we could kind of look at the logos and go, oh, that's so fake, but AI is so good now. No big deal. I'm not even going to pay attention to that. What I am going to pay attention to is, where did it come from? And it says no underline reply at MC. So that would be MasterCard map.chase.com. You know, if it were just coming from chase.com, I'd probably be okay with it. But I'm not familiar with this email address, mcmap.chase.com. So that raised my red flags. Then this is so basic looking.
Yeah.
Action requested, review the latest scams. And then here's some urgency to it. You won't believe how convincing scammers can sound. And a big green button to review the scams. Nope, I'm not going to do it. And, you know, again, this looks very basic for MasterCard. Read the story. Lots of little links to go in and look and see. And I'm just not going to do it.
No. Did you look it up and see if this was going around?
I did not, because what I wanted to do was just show it to you all so that
Yeah.
you are aware of where we want to be kind of cautious, right?
Yeah.
And so, but what I would do is to go actually to my account and accessing my account there, and then looking to see what they have directly there in terms of notifications, articles, things like that. So I would go directly to
So
Chase
could you
myself.
also continue scrolling all the way down, and then sometimes you can see and know whether it's legit. They'll put the company name and address and phone numbers and I don't know,
Yeah, but that could be, I could easily fake that.
it could.
I could fake that. So you've been given updates about your Chase relationship.
See, now
Was that,
that looks suspicious to me, right under the copyright 2026. What is that? Those
Yep.
letters and those
don't
numbers.
know.
Usually if you get something like from Chase Bank or any bank, at the very bottom, they will have, I don't know, like the bank's address, and you can click on, find a branch, or
Yeah.
they provide a lot of information at the very bottom.
Yep.
It looks like it might have been a link that was not, didn't work.
Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, just, one more cautionary tale,
Yeah.
paying attention to, what's out there. Let's talk about something different next week. Anybody have a suggestion? Stuff is exhausting.
Yeah.
We've been covering it a good bit.
Let's see.
Ideas?
How about some more go ahead, Linda.
Linda.
Linda,
I'd like to know what Reddit is. I
Ah,
see it everywhere, and I even see the Reddit person on Shark Tank, so he's legitimate. What really is it? All of a sudden, there's a lot of things that just fall to Reddit.
That's a good one.
that's a great one. I'm laughing because it's been around for a long time, but it was sort of the secret of young people.
Yeah.
Did we talk enough about TikTok too?
Secret is out. We can talk about TikTok.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll talk about social media next week.
young people stuff.
Young folks. All righty.
And
Have a
from
great
the
week,
old
everyone.
people, from the old people or experienced people, like
That's right.
on your Facebook page for just older youth and like it,
That's
share
right.
it. And then you can close Facebook completely for the rest of the week.
No, thank you, Betsy.
Don't forget to like and share the Joy Center's page.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Somebody do that for me?
Yeah.